Welcome to Super Tuesday, presented by Boost Mobile. This is the Big Ten on ESPN. We are in Madison, Wisconsin tonight, where it is frigidly cold. Temperature 3 degrees. It feels like negative 117. Okay, feels like negative 17 with the wind chill. Our matchup in the Big Ten Conference. Indiana, the Hoosiers come on the road against the Badgers of Wisconsin. Well, some breaking news here before this matchup. We'll get into some more specifics, but first, let's welcome in Molly McGrath.
Thank you so much, Dave. Well, Wisconsin looking even more thin at the guard position tonight after Brevin Pritzel suffered a head injury during shoot-around earlier today. He collided with a teammate in a 4-on-4 drill. He's out for this game. He is considered day-to-day, and freshman Nate Reavers will make his first career start in his place. And players told me this was a more intense game day practice than usual. Greg Gard trying to instill a sense of urgency in his team, Dave. All
right, thank you, Molly. Not great news for Wisconsin, already very short-handed. And welcome here to our broadcast table. Dave Fleming, Dan Dockich, happy to have you with us here. Both teams have been a little short-handed. Wisconsin specifically, they will lean on their stars. We got two of the best in this league.
Yeah, we do. For Indiana, Juwan Morgan has doubled his output from a year ago, 7.5 to 15 this year, had 34. And for Wisconsin, you know the name, Ethan Happ. He leads the Badgers in everything. Pritzel being out is huge. Coming off a career high, he's been in the starting lineup the last 5 games. He shot the ball well. That's big, big loss for Wisconsin.
Well, you could argue already their top 2 perimeter players hurt and out, not just tonight, but for a long while. Although this freshman who's got the ball, Brad Davison, has had a great start to his career.
Yeah, I would argue it absolutely. Dimitri Trice, who is their lone real returning guy with any experience, he's out. They expect him maybe back in January.
So you notice the starting 5 for the Badgers, and Nate Reavers. We will talk about him a lot. This is his first career start. Very highly regarded freshman from the state of Minnesota. Happ gets an immediate shot and scores with a foul.
Well, the reason Happ was able to do that was because Reavers is opposite. Reavers can really shoot the basketball, and Juwan Morgan kind of stayed outside the lane getting to Reavers, and it enabled Happ to go one-on-one with Davis. And he killed him.
And Davis got the foul. Happ. Well, we'll plumb the depths of your brain as we go along and try to find that out.
Wow.
Happ made the free throw, completed the 3-point play. That's a good sign for him. Newkirk, Johnson, McRoberts getting a start. He's played well lately for the Hoosiers. Morgan and Davis, who will get a touch on the low block. Size mismatch. He is much bigger than the freshman Reavers, but Reavers played pretty good defense.
Played great defense right there. Good for Indiana going inside. Should go back.
Newkirk, with the shot clock starting to wind down, will launch a 3 way short. There's Morgan with the offensive rebound.
I think the ball, Indiana must play inside out. If they're going to shoot jump shots, they're going to get beat. They've got to throw it inside and play from there.
Well, they have some pretty good shooters. The shots have not been falling for Indiana of late. That's a turnover for Johnson. I think Archie Miller is hoping that some of those shots start to fall. The confidence builds. The defense gets better. I mean, I think as much as he preaches defense, and that's sort of the core of who he is as a head coach, he thinks his kids are putting so much pressure on themselves because those shots aren't falling.
Well, they played great defense, I thought, against Notre Dame. You know, they were down. They just kept scrapping. And here's how you can tell if Indiana's playing good defense. If they get a ton of deflections and if they're able to jam the lane and get back to shooters. Like right here, if Morgan can get back.
He didn't get back, and Reavers made it pay.
That's it right there. You go help, you got to get back. And you're right, Morgan was slow. If you don't get back, you're not playing as hard as you can. You should be able to do that.
I also thought that was pretty well done by Happ. Patient on the low block, waited to the perfect time to make the pass.
Look, Happ is an excellent passer. I mean, excellent.
Davis down low. That's the first bucket for Indiana.
If I'm Indiana, I'm going there. I'm living with it. I'm dying with it. I don't care. That's where the ball's going.
Archie Miller sort of called out Duran Davis a few days ago.
Should. He hasn't been given any effort. And I don't know how you play college basketball and not give effort.
Here's Happ against Davis. They double team him again. They leave Davison open. Davison is a good shooter, the freshman.
See, that was good by Newkirk. He helped and got back.
Happ was fouled.
Let me show you what I'm talking about here. You're going to see Juwan Morgan, who is a very good athlete right here. He is helping off of the shooter. So now you dig in, but your body, you don't lean in. He gets off balance. You lean with your ball side, but you stay on balance with your man side. If you lean too much, you get off balance, you can't recover. So show your hand in on the ball, but have your mind and your body going back towards your man.
Reavers traveled. Colin Hartman just in the game. Maybe muscled up a little bit, pushed him off his spot. That's a turnover for Greg Gard's Wisconsin Badgers.
Well, Hartman got caught up a little bit in the screen, and he did a great job of hustling back to Reavers. And you're right, he probably gave him a little nudge. Next year, that won't be a travel for Reavers. That'll be a bucket.
Because he'll be bigger and stronger.
He'll be bigger and stronger, yeah.
Hartman checked in the game. The last whistle was against Davis, so he picked up 2 very quick fouls. He's on the bench for Indiana. Newkirk scores.
Yeah, really good by Newkirk because he sat down. He got in the lane, and he didn't raise up. He played low and then was able to strongly get over Davis.
Reavers matched up with Hartman, gets it down low to Happ. A double team comes again quickly out of bounds off of Indiana.
See, when you see Indiana getting deflections, Indiana's ready to play defense. But here's the problem. They do it in stretches. You can't do it in stretches. You have to do it for 40 minutes.
Brad Davison, who's had recurring injuries with that left shoulder, wearing the brace that's so noticeable. That's a deflection for the Hoosiers and a steal.
Really good little back screen, and Newkirk fought through it and went and got himself a deflection and a steal. See, here's one of Indiana's problems. You just saw 3 guys touch the ball. Nobody looked at the rim. Hartman didn't look at the rim. McRoberts didn't look at the rim. Johnson didn't look at the rim.
Eventually, somebody has to.
You got to look at the rim.
Johnson will, and he missed the shot from short range.
So really, in that possession, you only had to guard 1 guy, and that was Johnson on the drive, and Wisconsin didn't do it very well.
Khalil Iverson, who has not been a great offensive player. This is the first time he's been a regular starter in his Wisconsin career.
Let me show you good defense. It's opposite. Watch Newkirk right here. Again, he's the help guy. So he gets in there, he's helping, and now he's back, shows his hands, moves his feet. Now that's how you play. You don't get off balance to where the guy you're helping off gets a shot.
Davison all the way, missed the layup. Happ offensive rebound, he scores.
He's so smart. He recognized the help came from Morgan, so he just went and filled the open spot and got it in. Mo Howard.
That's who we figured it out.
I got nothing.
Morgan baseline fouled by the freshman Reavers. And we'll take our first break. Wisconsin out to the early 8-4 lead.
Freshman, he is their most vocal leader.
I just want to, it's good stuff from Molly. I want to emphasize what she said there. 5 times this year, that shoulder has come out of socket, has been dislocated.
What happens is once you do it the first time, as you know, then it gets easier until you go in there, which he's going to do after the season, and get that thing tightened up. There you got to look at the bucket.
Colin Hartman.
Yeah, you know, too many guys are catching the ball, looking left and right. Hartman, who is a senior and a terrific shooter, came off thinking shot before he even came off the screen.
I wonder if Archie Miller mentioned what you had said during that last timeout.
Everybody should mention what I said, and the world would be a better place.
Here's Ethan Happ. He's been active in the early minutes. That must make his head coach happy. Greg Gard, 3rd year as the head man here at Wisconsin. Great record, although this is a different year, different feeling team. The injury's a big part of that. Demetric Trice out. He could miss the rest of the year. Kobe King, very talented freshman, will miss the rest of the year. Roman Pritzel won't play tonight. That's a big loss for Greg Gard's team. Yeah. The injuries are piling up. They graduated the 4 seniors, the 4 leaders from last year's Sweet 16 team. We knew it was going to be a different kind of year for the Badgers. Without the injuries have really emphasized that.
They crush you, and you can handle some injuries, just not to the wrong guys. Yeah. Kobe King is going to be really good. You know, the group they lost, I think, was the most fun group that I covered in the Big Ten. Zach Showalter, Nigel Hayes, those guys were absolutely tremendous, and you know, replacing them, as you said, Dave, was going to be hard, but there you go. You just drive it. Like, it's not that hard. Like, if you're out here to play basketball, you look at the rim, you go to the rim, and that's exactly how Colin Hartman should play as a 12th-year senior.
First lead for the Hoosiers and their grizzled veteran, Colin Hartwood, has made a big impact since coming into this game off the bench. Davison, you can see that brace he wears on the left shoulder. Happ, who still struggles shooting free throws, missed 2, doesn't struggle with that.
No, and that's inexcusable by Hartman. He had help coming from Green to the inside, and what you do there is you take away the outside.
What a great steal by Happ. He can handle the ball in the open court too. Davison tries to use the screen from Happ. He took a shot on that shoulder. One of the freshmen, redshirt freshman, Aleem Ford, gave up the ball wearing number 2. He's been shooting well for the Badgers. Davison, a little step back. That was a tough shot. Rebound off of Iverson's back out of bounds.
Well, look, here's what you have to do. All right, you've got the ball right here. Bart, let's freeze it. You've got to take away this side because you know the help is coming here. So you must force the man to the middle. Well, Hartman sees the help, doesn't force the man to the middle, and you let Happ in here. It is over. Completely over. You've got to force him to the double, or else there's no sense in having a double.
Just in case our audience doesn't know, Bart, our producer, Bart Fox, who's produced Super Tuesday in the Big Ten for, what, 17 years or so. That's a foul on Wisconsin.
Well, what we do is every year around Christmas when we work a game with Bart or the holidays, we mention him because he's an Indiana grad and he doesn't send out Christmas cards, and he wants everybody to know he's alive and well and living in Chicago.
This counts as his annual Christmas card.
This is it right here.
Yeah, or holiday card. First free throw missed from Robert Johnson. When we are done, Texas Tech, Kansas. That's a really good matchup. Boog Jambi, Fran Fraschilla standing by. They will have the call on Super Tuesday from Fog Allen in the Big 12 when we're finished here in Madison.
12-1 Texas Tech. Chris Beard is an exceptionally good coach. They crushed Northwestern, or crushed and then crushed Baylor the other day. So this is going to be a heck of a ball game. Kansas is really good, but do not sleep on the toughness of Texas Tech.
Well, this is the year, I think, where maybe that streak in the Big 12 will be most tested. Kansas can get some reinforcements as Davison weaves his way through traffic, and the defense just disappeared. He missed the layup. And here come the Hoosiers out in the open court. Green gives it up. Johnson scores.
Yeah, good play by Green. Maybe went a little too far, but it was a jailbreak. Everybody was going. And next thing you know, good pass. Attempt to take a charge.
TJ Schlunt is in the game. Former walk-on. Davison launches the 3. He's a little off the mark in the early minutes of this game. Good rebound for Durham, the freshman for Indiana. Green 3, way short.
Yeah, no need to do that. You're playing against walk-ons out here. You know what I mean? This is a tough lineup, and this is a lineup Greg Gard never thought he would have in, ever, even in practice. I'm sure he didn't think he had this lineup. So you can't just settle and shoot a 3. You've got to make a team work and move.
Davison almost traveled down low. Reavers had position, couldn't quite corral the pass.
Look, everybody's running, man. Everybody is on the loose and running. And Green with a nice little pass. Maybe he left his feet, but that's all right. He made it on time for a layup. Pretty good defense, about as good as you can do in a 3-on-1 by Schlunt.
Well, I don't think that Archie Miller liked that shot from Devontae Green.
And good for Archie Miller. You're trying to establish a program. Don't let a guy take a shot like that. You see Happ back in quick, because this could get away from you.
Davison having a hard time getting the ball in bounds. Does to Aaron Maish, one of those walk-ons you referenced, and Maish turns it over. Good lead bounce pass, Newkirk.
Yeah, really good. Really good, because Davison got back and got himself set this time. Didn't go too far. Johnson found, or Newkirk, excuse me, and found Johnson. This has to go through. I'm sorry, this has to go through Happ. Nobody else can touch the ball.
I'm sure that's Indiana's focus on defense. Well, they left Ford open. He's been hot from the outside. Missed that one. Scramble for the ball. Hartman, he traveled before the contact. I think that was a good call.
I do too. Really good
the turnover. 14-10 Indiana from the state capitol here in Madison.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Boost Mobile and in part by the 4 for $4 from Wendy's. Now with 8 main sandwiches to choose from.
Hoosiers, after falling behind 6-0, they lead here at the Kohl Center in Wisconsin, 14-10 in the first half. It has been a long time since Indiana has won here on the road against the Badgers. In fact, it was 1998. This was the first week, wasn't it, of this building?
First 8 days, Luke Recker, A.J. Guyton. Indiana got to win. There was a stretch. I was in Indiana for 16 years, never lost to Wisconsin. One time last year, 97. How about that?
Safe to say that has turned around.
18-20, Wisconsin's won. Now it's a straight double with 2 bigs, making somebody else shoot. A good move by Archie Miller out of timeout.
We'll see if somebody else for Wisconsin can make a shot. It's been almost all Ethan Happ, who gets a touch here and goes to the basket. Got fouled before the shot. Wisconsin will keep the basketball. So you want to flash back and say what was going on January of 1998. Some things don't change. Duke was #1, although they're not #1 at the moment. Still one of the best programs in the country. Titanic. Leo was leaning over the bow.
Yes, he was.
Candle in the Wind.
Yeah.
That feels like a long time ago.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, guys out there, Candle in the Wind, one of the great songs ever. The Titanic song, Celine Dion, you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah.
What does
They
Celine
could
Dion
duel in oh, look at that. He was not the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers in that Super Bowl, but he is the current Packers quarterback and a great fan of the Badgers, along with our friend Andy North.
Well, he's gotten to be friends with a lot of these guys. Aaron Rodgers has. Andy North has
what?
Well, I was just going to say, Andy North donated for the new locker room here. It's the Andy North locker room here, the home locker room.
He is a big supporter of this program.
He was my idol growing up. He had the same bone disease that I had. And when I saw him win 2 U.S. Opens, the only 2 tournaments he ever won on the PGA Tour, he was an inspiration to me.
He saved his best for the big moments. From the corner, Colin Hartman having a nice first half.
And I do not blame Greg Gard for being mad. That was as sloppy as you will see a Wisconsin team be, leaving Colin Hartman, the only guy that's going for Indiana.
Back in 30 right after this. Well, we told you we'd be back in a hurry. Wisconsin band, even though school is not yet back in session. Some students are here to support the Badgers hoops team, trying to keep that streak alive. They have won 15 games in a row in this building against this opponent, the Indiana Hoosiers. Wisconsin will shoot the 3 from the left side and hit the 3. That's TJ Schlunt,
Hey,
the
good
former walk-on.
Good for TJ Schlunt. Walk-on, got a scholarship this year, getting an opportunity. As the father of a walk-on, I'm telling you, was a walk-on. There's no bigger thrill than seeing your son get a chance and take advantage of it.
Well, your son has done that this year with Ohio State.
Ohio State's playing pretty well. Keita Bates-Diop has been as good as any player in the Big Ten not named Bridges.
Good steal, good defense from the Badgers. That 3 from Schlunt was the first field goal for Wisconsin in 5 minutes. That was not a great pass, but out of bounds off of Indiana. Well, Monday night on ESPN, we are all looking forward to it. The matchups were set last night. Georgia, Alabama, all SEC. I know that makes people in this part of the world a little upset to see the SEC dominating, but it's the national championship game presented by AT&T, 8 Eastern, Monday from Atlanta.
Who do you like?
I like Alabama based on the way they played last night. They look like their old selves. They look like the best team in the country. We took a little poll. Iverson dunks it home. I like Alabama. You like Alabama. Molly likes Alabama.
I don't even know why they play the game.
Shut her down. Georgia looked good too.
Georgia looked great to start the second half. He looked like Georgia. That Chubb kid could run.
True freshman. I know he played really well, the quarterback for Georgia, but against the Nick Saban defense on the biggest of big stages, that has me a little nervous.
I think the kid's got enough.
I
just don't know if they can stop Alabama, and Alabama seems to be on a mission. Great double. You got to take advantage right here.
Schlunt, can he hit another one? Not this time. Good position underneath off of Indiana. That was a little hustle play from Aaron Maish.
Indiana, number 3, Justin Smith. 4, Robert Johnson. And Juwan Morgan.
Pretty good adjustment by Archie Miller. He is taking one man. He is designating the opposite man, in this case, and leaving Schlunt open and going and straight doubling. Now, if you're going to double Happ, you have to do it with a big guy. You can't do it with a guard. It's a way, unless he's out on the court. If he's on the block or around the block, you have to double him big and big.
Happ with the fresh shot clock. Working against Juwan Morgan. Skipped it over to Ford. Ford three is good.
Yeah, great pass by Happ. You know, here's what also you have. You got to keep your hands up when you're doubling. That was too easy. That was a direct line pass. And you can't get back to Ford because the pass had no hump on it. There was no time.
And you know the scouting report circled Ford for Indiana. He's been the hottest three-point shooter in the league. There's underneath the basket, a layup for one of the Indiana freshmen, Justin Smith.
Justin Smith is going to be a really good player. Justin Smith's the best athlete, talking to Bruiser Flint before the game. He just got to figure out shooting the basketball. He shoots the basketball, he's going to be a big-time three-man.
Shoot and handle it. Just work on those skills, I think. Happ tried to spin with the double team coming and then rip the ball just to at least tie it up, but the arrow favors Indiana.
When you double team, you've got to force the man to the double, and you've got to show your hands. Hands are down right here, and you're going to see a direct line pass. Well, you were able to make a direct line pass. You cannot get back to a shooter. The pan, I got a little screen, but the opposite man couldn't get there either, Johnson, because it's a direct pass. You've got to make the guy being doubled throw a cross-court pass with a hump on it to give you time to get there.
Good little teaching point. And this is already, I think, the biggest theme of this matchup. Does Wisconsin have anybody to help Happ? And he goes to the bench, presumably just for a short amount of time. But when he's on the court, the defensive energy has been focused on him.
Yeah, and the offensive energy is really non-existent because there really isn't anybody outside of maybe Ford that can get going on his own.
Newkirk to Morgan. We'll see if he can take advantage with Happ on the bench. Working against the freshman. Morgan scores off the glass.
You know, Wisconsin doesn't really double team the post often, but they're going to have to think about it if Indiana is consistent and disciplined enough to throw the ball into Morgan. Morgan killed Notre Dame right in that position, right block.
Hit 34 points against
Killed him. Same spot, too.
The Indiana fouls on number 3, Justin Smith.
Not many players been playing better than this guy.
No, he's doubled his output, excuse me, and you've got to double him. You let a freshman on him, it is over.
Indiana trying to snap a long losing streak on the road in Madison, Wisconsin, and off to a good start here in the first half, despite the excellent play of the All-American for the Badgers, Ethan Happ. Hoosiers have the lead here, under 8 to go, 7:44 exactly on the clock, 23-18.
I think to end this half, you're going to see a steady diet of two things. Happ on the block on one end and Morgan on the block on the other end.
Nate Reavers, the freshman, starting for the first time with more injuries for Wisconsin. Bounced it down low to Iverson with the foul.
Man, great pass. Iverson, fantastic cut. Zach McRoberts was there. And watch, McRoberts is right there. And here he comes over here, and then you just leave your feet as a freshman for a second. And Iverson and Happ and Wisconsin over the years take advantage of it for an and one.
Well, that is one thing that Khalil, he does a lot of things well, but finish under the rim. He is an excellent finisher. He completes a three-point play.
Yeah, he's got a great body, real pop in his body. He jumps up quick, has a great second jump, and can play through contact. Ball has to go to Morgan. He's got one shot all game.
Green off the dribble. Good defense from Davison. Johnson trying to feed Morgan down low. They got the switch. Reavers came over the top but committed the foul. And that's against Wisconsin. Let's welcome in Molly.
Well, Dave, the focus of that last Indiana huddle was, of course, all about Ethan Happ and how to stop him. And Coach was saying, make Happ put the ball on the floor before we trap him. Remember, Archie Miller said he wants to force him to be a passer instead of a scorer in this game.
And I'm with that. But what you can't let happen is that pass you Jane like Iverson's too easy.
Green cut off once again, and a good deflection by Iverson. Couldn't steal it, but only 8 on the shot clock for the Hoosiers.
Well, that was really good by Iverson. I mean, Iverson's playing a very good game. He's playing the post. He's playing offensively inside. He's doing a great job. They need Charles Thomas, they being Wisconsin.
Yes.
Who's a veteran kid, same kind of athlete as Iverson, to provide the same type of things.
He's hardly been playing. Morgan with the shot clock winding down, couldn't get one off. That's a violation.
And nobody helped him. You got Robert Johnson out there, who's a senior, McRoberts, who's a veteran, won 2 state championships, and Colin Hartman, who's been in the program for 5 years, and nobody, we're sitting here, nobody said a word to him.
Happ gets that touch. Double team came a little later. Iverson open, long two.
I can live with that if I'm Indiana. I mean, look, that's what you want. You want Iverson to have to take a jump shot. You do not want Happ beating you or down the lane on somebody.
Good move by Green, just couldn't hit the jumper. He is really struggling shooting the ball.
Yeah, he is. And he looks like he's struggling. Like, you know, he looks uncomfortable when he shoots. Like he's hoping it goes in, aiming it as a pitcher, not firing.
0 for 2 tonight. He's shooting 29% from 3 on the year. 29%.
And he's a shooter, or supposed to be.
Oh, I think he's an excellent natural shooter. Happ, what a spin move. Foul on the floor. And I think if you're looking for upside for Indiana, Devontae Green is a talented kid. He can be playing so much better, and just making some of those shots from the outside could help that whole Hoosiers offense.
I mean, let's be honest. The talent level in this game is one-sided to Indiana. The experience level is one-sided to Indiana. What's keeping this a game, and it's going to probably be a tie game or a 2-point whatever, is the kid at the line right now. Because everything is going through him. And when he was out, they were completely lost, they being Wisconsin.
One thing you would love to see from Ethan Happ is a better free throw shooter.
If Ethan Happ's going to play anywhere, anytime professionally in the United States, he's got to make shots.
That was not a great foul for Iverson. Fouled Johnson shooting the 3.
The Wisconsin fouls on Khalil.
Yeah, I don't get it with Ethan Happ. He's never going to be a great outside shooter, but this is a guy who puts in a lot of time. You see all the skill, the moves, the ball handling, ambidextrous underneath the basket, cannot shoot free throws.
Well, he can't shoot, period. I mean, there are some guys that just can't. I mean, you can work on it, work on it, work on it. Indiana fans remember a kid named Chris Reynolds back in the early 90s. I mean, he would work like a crazy person and just couldn't make ever.
And I'm not disagreeing with you, as Johnson makes the second of 3. But I'm just saying this guy's not a klutz. You see the skill and the ambidexterity underneath the basket. The guy's got skill on the court.
He's great from 1 foot in.
Or 5 feet.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, he's the best, maybe the best player in the country. Really,
he might be.
Yeah, for a big guy making shots around the bucket, over, through, around.
Variety of post moves, ability to finish in a lot of different ways.
Absolutely.
Maybe the best.
Yeah, he's Kevin McHale. You know, I mean, he can go up and under on you. He can do whatever you want, but some guys just can't shoot.
Now here he is, trying to get through the double team. Instead, he'll score and draw another foul.
Same thing. You cannot, if you're McSwain, let him go right shoulder when you have the left shoulder already protected. You have to jump, and you see what he's been able to do. This is pretty good company.
16 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists per game this season. He's at each of those thresholds. Evan Turner, Draymond Green, Caleb Sweet. You're talking about 3 of the very best players in this conference over the last decade.
There's no question. I mean, you're maybe the 3 best.
He looked perfect on that free throw. It's not like he doesn't make any.
No, he's a basketball player.
He's got 10 already. Both teams shooting the ball well, over 50% in this first half.
I like what Archie Miller did right here. I don't like that shot, but I like what Archie Miller did. He wanted some movement, so they went to old school flex action, back screen, down screen. Didn't get any driving, but at least they got movement.
Happ tipped the ball out. Davison came away with it. Wisconsin's got a chance to tie or go back ahead. They jumped out to the early 6-0 lead. Since then, it's been mostly Indiana. On the baseline, the freshman Davison trying to muscle his way in. He traveled.
Good call. Really good call. Davison got a little excited, moved his feet.
NBA Wednesday doubleheader. That's tomorrow, Dan. 2 games. Celtics, Cavs. That's a really good 2 best teams in the East. And then the Thunder and the Lakers. There's a chance Lonzo plays. You see he got cleared to come back to practice. Could play in that game tomorrow against the Thunder. He's kind of your guy, so I figured I'd point that out. Those games are
I love what Brad Stevens has done. The Celtics have come a little bit back to earth. And Isaiah Thomas, I believe, is going to get in there.
Now, he's going to play tonight
yeah.
And then probably not play tomorrow, which
That's
seems
right.
like that doesn't seem right to me.
You got to play in a nationally televised ones. Paying a lot of money here at ESPN.
Coming back to Boston, big story. You know, he wants to play in that game.
You think?
Happ
See, that time he took away the shoulder opposite, the baseline shoulder, because the help is coming from the middle. You got to do it again.
He is working hard. Open player underneath. Ford just waited too long, I think.
Well, he shot faked and then he fell. He didn't give his best jump. He didn't go up 2 feet and go up at the rim. He just kind of layup lined it.
Aleem Ford was wide open. That was good ball movement, good passing. Wisconsin, nothing to show for it. Little slip pass. Hartman tried to go behind the back. Lucky that wasn't a turnover. Here's Johnson. Blow by. Good.
That's what I'm saying. Indiana, if you get the ball at the top of the key, all right, if you're Archie Miller, here's what you got to see. We get the ball at the top of the key, we've driven to the rim. Why? Because the defense spreads out. If the ball goes on a side, the help is already established. Ball on the top of the key, it spreads. Indiana's quicker, they can get to the rim.
That's out of bounds and a Wisconsin turnover. Hoosiers will have it when we come back here to Madison. In the Big Ten, it's Indiana, Wisconsin.
With these squares, Michigan State, Purdue, who's the next best team in the Big Ten?
So far, it's been Ohio State. I mean, really, and Keita Bates-Diop, as you have seen, and Jayshawn Tate have been terrific. But I got to believe over the course of the year, Seth, it has got to be Minnesota. I think it's got to be, right? They just haven't played well. We'll be there on Saturday, Dave and I.
We will, with the Hoosiers and the Gophers from Minneapolis. Can I nominate another team?
Yeah.
Seth didn't ask me, he only asked you. But can I nominate another team? The Wolverines appear to be playing very well again tonight. I think they have a chance also to be in that.
I don't disagree with that. Mo Wagner had an ankle. He went home to Germany.
He has 2 ankles.
Yeah, but he had a bad one of them.
Oh, I see.
And he went to Germany. I don't know if, Andrew Luck went to the Netherlands, and he went to Germany, and he seems to be fixed. Not Andrew Luck, but
where did Kobe go when he
They'll do
Germany,
that blood
maybe?
spin. I think it's Germany.
Yeah.
Mo went there because his family lives there.
Sure.
But he's been playing well. Duncan Robinson's been shooting the ball better. John Beilein, we know, is a fantastic coach. It's just a matter of time before they play well, and they're playing well now.
That's the team I'm keeping my eye on.
I don't disagree.
That was off who? I guess Iverson.
There's some guys. Keita Bates-Diop last year was hurt, and he has been fantastic. You know who's maybe the second best player in the league? I'll say Miles Bridges is first. Is Dakota Mathias at Purdue. He has been incredibly good on both ends. Clutch.
When you make a list of the best players in the Big Ten, Michigan State and Purdue have a lot of them. What a 3 from Hartman at the end of the shot clock.
Big time. That's a senior, fifth-year senior, doing what fifth-year seniors are supposed to do on the road, bailing his team out. He's been fantastic so far.
He's got 11 for the Hoosiers. Happ in traffic. Scores.
Impossible. There's no way opposite the ball that Freddie McSwain can get caught on a screen. You don't even worry about Happ when he's opposite the ball. You plant in the lane and beat him to a spot.
That did not happen.
No.
And Ethan Happ took advantage. So he is carrying Wisconsin in this first half. Newkirk finds Colin Hartman. Runner with the soft touch.
Yeah, really nice. Again, the ball went side to side. They got the matchup they wanted, and Hartman just went into the lane and shot over Wisconsin.
His career high is 15. His season high is 13. He's already tied that. We've still got a minute plus to go in the first half.
When he was in 8th grade, I remember calling both Matt Painter and Tom Crean saying, you got to recruit this kid. And he has, battled injuries and all that, but he's terrific.
Quick release 3, tap back by Happ. Iverson tracks it down.
Somebody's got to double. Better double.
They tried. Tip up. He stays with it. What persistence from Happ.
He is so good at beating you to the spot or beating anybody to the spot. Like he'll jump, come down, and be back up quicker. You know why? Because he extends his arms. A lot of guys play with their arms above their elbows. He plays with his hands above his shoulders.
He is playing hard tonight. Shot clock down to 10 for Indiana. Hoosiers with the ball up by 5. Swain got tied up. That's McRoberts on the baseline, too strong. Iverson, what a rebound. He got fouled.
Colin Hartman has been the guy. Now this is a big bucket out of a timeout because Indiana was stagnant. He got it with 3 seconds and just lifted over and then he drove it. So you use the fact that you got a jump shot going to drive the basketball, and Colin Hartman doing what a fifth-year senior should do. Let's be honest. Who's going to step up for Indiana? Should be a senior. He's doing it.
They missed him so much last year. I mean, think about the talent that Indiana had. They had a lot of talent. James Blackman, Thomas Bryant, OG Anunoby while he was still healthy, and others. But they missed Colin Hartman a lot last year.
They missed him a lot. They had a bunch of guys that couldn't guard me. And Colin Hartman could when he was healthy and could share and distribute. He could post feed, he can shoot, he can handle, he can guard different people.
They missed him, and they missed the tournament.
With 3 pros.
Hard to do.
Which is why you got a new coach.
Iverson at the free throw line. Trying to take advantage of being in the bonus. Made 1 of 2. It's a 4-point game. Shot clock is off, so Indiana presumably is going to hold for the final shot of the half. Before they do that, they're going to call a timeout.
Indiana.
So Archie Miller, first year with the Hoosiers. I think everybody believes that Archie is going to get this program not just back in the right direction, because Tom Crean, I mean, Tom won a lot of games. He won 2 conference titles, had some big wins even in the NCAA tournament. It's not like there was no success. I think people in Bloomington do believe that they've found the right guy.
Look, people in Bloomington want to believe they found the right guy. I didn't think Tom Crean should have been fired. I didn't. I thought Tom Crean brought the program back. You can say whatever you'd like about last year, the year before, but the guy won 2 Big Ten titles, which in the world of Big Ten basketball is important. And Tom had great graduation. He recruited well. I think he shouldn't have been fired, but he was. So now I thought they should have hired Alford, but he wasn't. So now they brought in Archie Miller, who I really, really like. I don't think Colin Hartman was coming back. Coaching change was made. Archie Miller came in. Colin Hartman came back, and he's been terrific tonight.
Having a career kind of performance, the 5th-year senior back healthy again. 4-point lead for Indiana out of the timeout. We'll see what Coach Miller wants from his Hoosiers.
Well, it needs to, without Juwan Morgan in there, it needs to be Robert Johnson or Colin Hartman here, or whoever gets it late clock. If you're at the top of the key, head down, go to the rim.
Not much from Juwan Morgan in this first half, that's for sure. Newkirk.
Head down, go to the rim.
Will, and he misses. The tip is good. No. They wave off the bucket and say a foul against McSwain.
Yeah, I think that was a good call, too. Are we going to shoot this? We are. I thought this was a good call. McSwain gets in underneath, and a little bit of a shove. Nice tip.
Not much. Not much.
I think that was a bad call.
We've changed our mind collectively.
Real quickly.
Yeah.
Big life, big stage, Big Ten.
Change our mind. We have the right. And it's double bonus time for Happ. That is huge. That was a bucket that went down. That would have been the final 2 points. And probably 35-29 halftime score. Happ misses the second. Hartman will launch, and no good. That's about all he missed in the first half.
He's been terrific. He's been the reason Indiana is going to take a 3-point lead. Nobody else really doing a whole lot. You mentioned Juwan Morgan. Hartman has. He's been fantastic.
2 off his career high. Let's hear from the Indiana head coach with Molly.
Thank you, Dave. Coach, what does your defense need to do against Ethan Happ?
Well, you know, he's really hard to defend. He's playing a lot further away from the basket on most of his catches, so it's a little bit more difficult to get to him right away. He's doing a nice job passing out, and the times that he's been able to get it out, they've made a couple. But most importantly, he's just very physical to defend against. We're going to have to find a different way to either keep it away from him or do a better job not fouling.
What do you need to do to get Juwan Morgan going?
Well, his foul trouble hurt him in the second half. He's doing okay. We just have to find a way to get him to play longer stretches.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right, and thank you, Molly. Hoosiers will take a lead to the locker room here in Madison after the break. We'll send it to the studio for the Alfa Romeo halftime report. Welcome back to Super Tuesday, presented by Boost Mobile from the Kohl Center in Madison, Wisconsin. We get ready to start the second half. The Hoosiers of Indiana on the road with a 33-30 lead. Dave Fleming, Dan Dockich back with you here. Ethan Happ for Wisconsin. This is a depleted Badgers team. He's keeping them in the game.
He really is. They have 30. He has 15. He's rebounding. He's passing. And he has forced Indiana to adjust their entire defense to him. And you know what, Dave? You said it earlier. He plays really hard. He has gone gone in and he has battled. And he's battled 3 or 4 guys at different times. Now, second half, Deron Davis, big, strong kid, and Juwan Morgan have to get after him.
Yeah, we'll see how productive Happ can be in the second half. Molly McGrath just a few minutes ago talked to his head coach.
Yeah, that's right. Greg Gard really happy with how Ethan Happ has handled those double teams. He said he's staying aggressive. He knows what's there and what's not there. His decision making is on point tonight, he said, and he's really happy with how he's finding the open guys, but he is not happy with their defense. He wants the ball stopped higher. He said there's way too many plays in the paint in transition right now, guys.
All right, Molly, thanks very much. Bench scoring in favor of the Hoosiers, which doesn't surprise considering how thin Greg Gard's team is. Man, his roster has been so beat up. It was already fairly thin, I think, at least relative to what we've come to expect with the Badgers over the last couple of decades. Happ right now is carrying Wisconsin.
Well, you look out here and you've got a freshman in Davison, a freshman in Reavers, a freshman in Ford, and Reavers was going to redshirt.
Happ right away with a touch, found his teammate underneath the basket. Iverson goes to the free throw line.
For some reason, Indiana's opposite guy is not getting into the lane. This time it was Robert Johnson who stood outside the lane as McRoberts went to double. Everybody has to be in the lane, taking away the basket first and foremost. And if you're going to get beat by the 3 of Wisconsin, then you get beat by the 3. But you can't be outside the lane and let a guy cut to the rim and play against a double.
Khalil Iverson playing well. He's got 7, now 8. Those are the first 2 of the second half.
Now, if they're going to win, Khalil Iverson or Reavers has to give him something.
Has to.
Yeah, somebody's got to give him something on a kickout because Indiana's going to continue to double.
We found out just moments before this game started, really, Brevin Pritzel suffered a head injury in shoot-around getting ready for tonight's game. Newkirk scores for Indiana, so Wisconsin already without Demetric Trice, very good experienced player, talented freshman Kobe King. Both of those guys out indefinitely. King for the year, and Pritzel out for tonight at least. Molly, you have any more info on Brevin Pritzel?
Yeah, Brevin Pritzel is not out here watching the game because he is experiencing light sensitivity and he has an aversion to loud noises. I did just see him underneath in the tunnel wearing sunglasses.
Davison with the 3, the freshman. They love his future here in Madison.
Oh, man, what a great catch. Just didn't finish. That might go in.
Almost did off the deflection.
Yeah, double dribble.
That's a double dribble. It was.
Yeah, it was, too. It was a really good call. I don't know that Ford understands that he did it. He kind of dribbled it out of traffic, picked it up, 2 hands, and then dribbled again.
See if we can spot the double dribble.
Right there, he patted it, caught it, patted it.
Can't do that. Instead of Wisconsin a chance to go ahead, they have not led since it was 10-9. Early minutes of the half. Happ steals it away.
That was so good by Happ. Not only Happ, but on ball, Wisconsin does not let you post feed.
See what I mean? I mean, the guy, he can handle the ball. He brought it down the court. He gets to the basket.
Makes all his own clothes. Teaches Arthur Murray dancing. And whiz in the kitchen.
Just can't make free throws. He is a multi-talented player.
No, he's really good. He's All-American. I mean, he's not All-American because he can do one thing. He's All-American because he can do a lot to make up for lack of shooting.
Found that freshman Reavers, who is a good shooter. Didn't look it on that one. Nate Reavers, that 3 is in and out, no good. Davis offensive rebound, put back, blocked. 3rd try, no good.
Well, you like Davis's effort. I mean, he's going right at him. He just can't get it in.
Davis, to me, I don't know if you agree with me, Dan, but it looks like, I know he's playing through these shoulder problems. He looks limited when he tries to even dribble with his left hand. Meanwhile, Happ finishes under the basket, and Wisconsin does have their first lead since the early minutes.
Well, the truth is, Davis doesn't play hard. I mean, Davis doesn't practice hard. It's been an issue with Davis. He's kind of a spot guy in terms of when he wants to go. And
that's a block. Davis got the benefit of the doubt that time.
I'm going to show you 2 things that have made Wisconsin really good. First, on the ball, you're going to see a lot of hands. And then down here, Happ is going to be really active, keeping his feet going. You see hands are all over, and Happ moves, and he takes it away. And then on this side, block. Defensive Player of the Year, Ethan Happ, and on the other end, he's just better. I mean, look, he is just more clever. He's quicker. He plays harder than Deron Davis. Archie Miller saw Davis going into his act, took him out.
Morgan scores with a foul. Nifty move for Juwan Morgan on a very quiet first half, and you see immediately we had the quick look. Ethan Happ, Greg Gard's trying to steal some minutes on the bench for his star player. As soon as he went to the bench, it got a lot easier.
Well,
for
he went to the bench with a kid that really needs the help, and that's Charles Thomas. Charles Thomas has been a bit of an enigma. I would have thought that Charles Thomas, along with Iverson, would have really bumped it up. So Gard went to Thomas. Indiana went right at him and got a three-point play.
Here's Davison. Where does the offense come from with Happ on the bench? How about 4-3? No good. Thomas offensive rebound, had it, and then had it ripped away. He was fouled.
You're not really asking Charles Thomas to do a lot, but you are asking him to solidify the inside both defensively and on the offensive backboard. That's all you're asking him to do.
That's a big call. That's Morgan's third foul. He goes to the bench just when he made a good move and got a bucket. Now he goes and sits down again. Davis comes back in.
You know, it's funny. You can always tell a guy that's young and immature. Deron Davis thinks people care that he limps in practice. Like, you know, he's got to get going. You know, so I was watching today. Everybody's going, and he's acting like he limps. Well, nobody cares if you limp. Like, in high school, everybody goes, "Oh man, are you okay?" Like, people care. In college, you're limping, sit down. Nobody cares. And he just got to get through that and play harder and practice harder. And if he does, he may be the dominant guy in the Big Ten by the end of this year or maybe next year.
I loved what he did in the offseason. That basket does not go down. Indiana comes away with the ball. He lost 20 pounds. They thought he was in better shape. They thought he was stronger.
He just got to grow up.
He's had some moments this year. I mean, you see it. He had 16 and 5 against Duke.
Yeah.
And those big guys.
He can play, and he's willing. He's not afraid inside.
Newkirk missed it. Rebound comes to Wisconsin. Buying minutes with Happ on the bench. Badgers down one with the ball. And a lineup of players out there, frankly, that at the start of the year, before the start of the year, nobody in this building would have thought they'd be watching these five together.
I kind of like Charles Thomas. I kind of like that he's kind of settled into this. I expect him to do something decent here at some point.
Davison scoops it in with some English.
Really nice. He just put his head down and got underneath the defender. It wasn't bad defense. Davison just went and made a play.
Brad Davison, freshman, great football and basketball player in high school.
If you're Indiana, where is Robert Johnson? 1,000-point scorer, going to score more points than Cody's. There you go.
There he is.
That's it.
After by Robert Johnson.
He made that look easy.
And it should be. I mean, he's the best guard out here on the court. Davidson has played better, but Robert Johnson, with his career, is the best player, and he's got to go play like it. He's a senior. You got to go on the road to start the season. It's got to be you, Hartman, and then everybody else play off of you.
Aaron Maish from the corner, one of those walk-ons getting big minutes for the Badgers. Davison attacks again, hits the floor. The follow from Thomas.
Yeah, I tell you, Thomas looks comfortable now. Greg Gard did a really good thing. He was going to take Thomas out when he gave up the three-point play to Morgan. He didn't, and Thomas looks really comfortable.
Johnson up and under. Found himself free, and he did finally shoot it.
That's what I just said. He's got to be the guy. He's a confident guy. He's a very good player, Robert Johnson is. As I say, he's going to score more career points. I know Cody Zeller only played a couple years, but he's moving up the scoring ladder at Indiana.
Well, think about all the great players in Hoosiers history. That's a three for Ford. Robert Johnson has started 102 games. He's got a lot more starts.
And this is where, you know, you're a senior, you got a new coach, you're trying to figure out a program, you got to play here.
Newkirk, air ball. Ford thought about it. So far, Badgers surviving with Happ on the bench for these couple of minutes. What, he sit down with about 17-20 on the clock, something like that. Davison behind the back, got cut off. Pretty good defense. Thomas stripped away. Shot clock at 2. Blocked again by Davis. Blocked for a third time. It's a shot clock violation.
Yeah, that was really good by Davis right there, getting after Charles Thomas. But Davison has given Wisconsin what they need. A second score, a second playmaker. It's pretty good. A little scoop to the hoop.
Well, I know Wisconsin is playing at home. This is a shorthanded Badgers team. And if they go on to win this game against Indiana, I personally am going to remember those last 3 minutes or so. Happ on the bench, and the Badgers played Indiana even 7-7 without him on the court. To me, that feels like a big victory.
2 freshmen were really good. Davison was really good. Ford was really good. And I thought Charles Thomas, after the first possession, gave him some good minutes. Now you look out here, there's 2 walk-ons, 2 freshmen.
And number 22.
And who's the difference?
Hartman 3. Good. There was some contact, no whistle. But Colin Hartman having a career night.
Dave, that was a great cut by Colin Hartman. The ball was dribbled to the baseline. Hartman came from the right side of the top of the key and sprinted into his shot. Terrific by Hartman.
Oh, Freddie has 8 lead changes this half, make it 9.
That's abuse. That's just abuse. I mean, Happ just abused Davis right there. Davis was slow getting around. Lunge. You cannot lunge on Ethan Happ. You got to make him shoot over you. And man.
Green leaned into Happ, just flung one up there, and some good fight from Davison to keep the ball away from Davis. Now on the floor, who has it? Wisconsin trying to call a timeout, but they say no, jump ball.
No, and fans are booing, but they didn't see. Davis did a great job there. He got his hands underneath and had a control of the ball as well as the Wisconsin player. This might be hard to see, but you're going to see Davis with some great hustle, number 20 in red, and his hand right there is in on the basketball. You can see he's got 2 hands in on it. That was really good by De'Aaron Davis. I was going to say De'Aaron. He's not De'Aaron Fox.
He is not.
No.
I like De'Aaron Fox, though.
Me too. He's really good.
He had some good moments.
Yes, he did.
He should be playing more for the Kings.
I had him as a rookie of the year.
That's not going to happen.
No, it's really not. But I think he's a talented kid.
Hartman, another 3. In and out, almost hit that one.
Boy, that was a heck of a shot because Ford was there, but he didn't have his hands up, and Hartman just lifted up.
Happ going back to work, finds Ford wide open for 3.
Well, Freddie McSwain replaced Davis. Freddie McSwain let Happ drive as deep as he wanted, and really, really poor help. I believe it was Hartman getting off of Ford. Didn't need the help.
Green, bounce pass, McSwain, blocked by Happ.
Hands above his shoulders is why he's able to block shots.
Davison down the lane. His shot was blocked by McSwain, but they're calling a foul. Contact on the head. He'll be shooting free throws.
Let's see if you can see where Happ's hands begin. Like Happ comes over and well, immediately that hand goes up. See how his hands are up already? He doesn't jump very high. But he plays with his hands straight up and his knees bent. So many kids play with their hands above their elbows, but not up above their shoulders when you play inside. You're the best I ever saw if that was Bill Walton. Bill Walton was ridiculous doing exactly what Happ does. He would have his hands up, guy would go up, maybe a great athlete, and he would just block it, and he didn't even have to hardly jump.
Happ is his kind of player.
Yeah. Happ is any coach's or any player's kind of player.
Davison made them both. Wisconsin's up 6. Al Durham, the freshman, off to the senior Newkirk.
Gotta throw it in.
McSwain gets a touch and made a quick spin move. They'll say no shot. A foul on the floor.
Yeah, good call. It was on the floor, but man, this kid Ethan Happ has been sensational. This isn't a bad game, and on top of it, he's blocking shots, he's assisting, and he's making the defense adjust to him.
Well, Well, you know what time it is. Who's flipping the switch? Brought to you by Boost Mobile. How about the three-point shooters for Wisconsin? They flipped the switch in the second half.
Yeah, that's why Wisconsin, you see, after only 30 points, has 21 in about 8.5 minutes, or 8:19, and they have got great looks. Indiana has been, I think, a little bit slower out here. There you see Colin Hartman not quite getting out, over helping a little bit. Same thing here. If you're going to beat Wisconsin, you have to make shots. And with this particular team, with all the double teaming, you have to make shots if you're Wisconsin. I mean, you're going to double here.
Morgan, runner over Happ. They need more from him.
They haven't played him. I mean, he's sitting out with 3 fouls. Every time they go on the block, something good happens.
Yeah, he's got to stay on the floor, stay out of foul trouble. That ended a 7-0 Wisconsin run. Not easy to stay out of foul trouble when he's the guy being asked to guard Ethan Happ.
And he better be careful, because he's pushing with his left arm. You push in front of an official, you extend, you're going to get called.
Shot clock winding down. Double team came. Davison 3. Not this time. Offensive rebound Ford. New shot clock for the Badgers.
Oh, is that good? See,
that hit the cutter.
And that was really good by Johnson. Remember earlier in the half I said Johnson was standing out wide and gave up a cut to the rim? That was exceptionally good by Johnson getting in front. Not so good on the finish.
Yeah, just couldn't quite get the layup to go. Here's Davison. Cut off on the baseline by Newkirk. Double team. Morgan got to avoid that foul. Did. Happ wrestles the ball away. Jump ball. Arrow favors Wisconsin. Remember, it has been a long time since Indiana has won on the road against Wisconsin. They've won one time in the history of this building. It was their first visit here back in 1998. That's the last time that Indiana won at Wisconsin. And it hadn't just been here. They have been beat up by the Badgers over the last many seasons.
18 out of 20. Wisconsin has won
all 3 matchups to Indiana last year, including one in the Big Ten tournament. Davison launches at the end of the shot clock, and it never hit the rim. Greg Gard looks a little frustrated after that one.
You know, it's interesting. There's not a lot of talking. There's not a lot of, like, end of the clock. You should be a little bit desperate, you know what I mean, to help your teammate. Not a lot of that.
Happ got in there and knocked the ball off of Morgan's leg.
I was watching Happ. They ran an up screen for Morgan. He rolled over the top. Happ went underneath, and Happ just fought and used his long arms in anticipation. If you're a coach and you have a post kid, that's whatever, limited, not limited, it doesn't matter. Just take a Wisconsin film, cut off all the defensive post play of Ethan Happ, and just show one after another and teach your kids how to keep your feet moving, show your hands. I mean, this is so good. Like, so many kids give up. Here's your little up screen. All right, Happ's underneath. He steps around with his right arm and his feet. You have to keep your feet moving. So many post kids want to lean on you. You move your feet and use your hands.
He really is just playing such an excellent all-around game. He is on the bench at the moment. Reavers, a freshman, with 3 fouls back in. Another one of those stretches. Can Wisconsin survive a few minutes without him? Morgan, another turnover.
You know, you think you have a mismatch. And Wisconsin's kids, whether it's Iverson or Davison or Schlunt, they get under you in the post and fight you like crazy. Well taught, Wisconsin.
Davison carried some of the offensive weight when Happ was last on the bench. See if they can find a shot for the freshman.
If I'm Wisconsin, I try to get Reavers a shot out on the court and bring Juwan Morgan away.
And call Johnson for a foul reaching around. Well, coming up next, big game in the Big 12. Texas Tech, they have been excellent. Chris Beard's team on the road at Fog Allen, looking for an upset win against the Jayhawks. When we are finished, Super Tuesday continues. Stream live on the app as well.
I would expect that game to be a hard-fought 2-5-6, 4-3, you know, that kind of game.
Close game.
Yeah, all the way through. Because Chris Beard and Texas Tech, they fight. And you know what Kansas is about. And I think people in the Big 12, as you said earlier, feel like if we're going to get them, this is going to be the year.
We've probably said that a few times over the last 14 years, but that truly may be the case. Happ back in, and immediately he scores.
He just went right by Juwan Morgan. Like Juwan Morgan stood there like he's guarding a walk-on.
What a game. Morgan on this end, no good. Another rebound for Ethan Happ. Why not just bring it up himself? Badgers are dominating on the glass in the second half, +9 rebounding the ball since halftime.
You know, when you look at this, Indiana doesn't have a lot of spirit to it. There's not a lot of esprit de corps.
Not much talking on their side either, is there?
No, none. I mean,
none. Davison open three, no good. Schlunt, another rebound for Wisconsin.
It's like with Indiana, whatever happens, oh well, it happens. That's not how you win Big Ten basketball games against a guy like this who's just killing you.
Killing him. Timeout, Indiana, the Ethan Happ show in Madison.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Boost Mobile.
Well, don't miss SportsCenter tonight right here on ESPN. A lot to talk about. Isaiah Thomas coming back. What's his impact going to be on the Cavs offense? Kyrie Irving inside his departure from Cleveland. What's the best conference in college hoops? That conversation has been at the forefront in college football the last few months, but especially during bowl season. How about in college basketball? You have an opinion?
I'll give a little bit. I mean, I think probably the ACC, but I'll say a little bit of the Big East. I'll tell you what. Butler beating Villanova. Villanova, best team I've seen in person. And Butler beat Big East is some bad boys.
Big 12 having a really good year.
Really good year.
Trae Young helps.
Trae Young is the most fun player I've seen in college basketball, and I cannot tell you how long. Other than Andrew Dockage for me, but you know what I mean.
Johnson three, no good. That's a brick.
How about the block out by Schlunt? Zach McRoberts is one guy in Indiana who'll give great effort, but TJ Schlunt, the kid who is a walk-on or was a walk-on, just took him out of the rebounding position. Out.
11-2 run for Wisconsin. It's been almost 6 minutes since Indiana scored. They needed that one. I take that back. They had one basket in the last 6 minutes until that one from Johnson. Screen, and Newkirk went down. Schlunt got kicked. He's got like a Charlie horse. Doesn't matter. Davison hits a three.
I guarantee you, Schlunt don't care. He's just happy to be out there. But again, the post double, ball side, they put Davidson, and Davidson delivered.
That's out of bounds. A turnover.
Most fun, most exciting player I've seen in college basketball in a long time. I did a game where this kid right here, Trae Young, had 25 and 12 at half against Northwestern. Love this kid.
It's also tight. All right, we'll stay up to speed on everything that's going on around college hoops.
Bowl, right?
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. This has been the Ethan Happ Bowl because he has been the story tonight.
And Davidson's given him really a little bit of help, a lot of help actually. He's handled the basketball. You know, you're talking about a freshman playing in the Big Ten with
a bad shoulder.
Yeah.
Scoreless in the first half. Davison has 10 since halftime. That pass was deflected. Ford tried to save it. Somehow Wisconsin did save it, but it goes to Morgan of Indiana. And now Johnson's open for three. No good.
And that's a shot that we've seen Robert Johnson make for years. He just cannot get one to go.
That was a crazy sequence. But it would have been a big bucket for Indiana. We're under 6 minutes to go. The Hoosiers are in danger here. They got to get it going, and now that's a whistle and a foul on Hartman. Well, Molly, you were talking about Davison and his toughness early in the broadcast.
Yeah, and he's also a vocal leader for the team. You know, the last 2 Wisconsin timeouts, it was all business. Ethan Happ, a very quiet leader. He was locked in, didn't say anything, but Davison, very vocal, encouraging his teammates, telling them to keep up their energy. And he told me he knows that Happ isn't the vocal guy, so he's taking it on himself to be more of the quarterback for the team.
How cool is that? That's a freshman. You know, and you go the other way. Who's the vocal guy for Indiana? And they've got veterans.
I don't know.
Right.
Davison pulls up. No good. Long rebound. Here comes Indiana. And the freshman Durham. Hartman for 3. In and out. That's a foul against McRoberts in Indiana. Now remember, Wisconsin's missing one of its best freshmen, Kobe King, who they think is going to be a heck of a player. Even with that, the freshman production tonight has been huge.
Really has. You know, Ford is a kid who redshirted last year, and he wanted to redshirt because he just knew he wasn't strong enough. Well, Greg Gard has done a really good job in this game of putting guys in the right spots. I'll explain this. When he knew that Davidson had hit 1-3, guess what he did? He knew they were doubling from him, so he put Davidson ball side. Then he did the same thing with Ford to give him another look. Those are things in coaching that make an incredible difference, putting players in the right positions. And Wisconsin, if you're going to ask me one strength, whether it's Bo Ryan, Greg Gard, that is their strength. Their players are always in the right positions. They figure it out during the course of a game, where to put them, and they get there.
And this team is undermanned, and they got an 11-point lead.
The difference in talent between Indiana and Wisconsin is the difference between a varsity and a JV with a really good player. That's a difference in talent and experience, really.
Morgan to the bucket. Nice move.
Yeah, really good move. Little ball screen and dive. Robert Johnson made the pass. Morgan went to the other side, but I'll tell you what, Happ was right there.
Well, it wasn't by accident that Molly used the word quarterback. Davison was a great high school quarterback. Greg Gard, I mean, he likes to recruit those kids. He loves the football players. Happ to the bucket. Kind of awkward, missed the shot, followed his own miss. One dribble with the left hand this time.
You know what? When one guy just decides to play harder than everybody else on the other team, good things usually happen for that one guy.
Johnson blocked. Off of Aaron Maish. He's a walk-on who hadn't scored a lot, but given Wisconsin some good minutes tonight.
2 freshmen, a walk-on, the guy who's trying to figure out how to play, and Ethan Happ. And you're beating Indiana by 12.
Happ's got 25 and 8. Not this time. He tried to move those feet and get around. We've seen that so many times in this game.
Well, you're going to see Ethan Happ right here. Like, he didn't want to shoot the jump shot. Right there, he could have shot it. Missed it. Everybody's standing with their hands out. Happ just goes to the left hand. That was after he had gotten 2 offensive rebounds over, around, and through Indiana.
Maybe one last break for Ethan Happ tonight. Just a few seconds away from under 4 minutes, so there will be a timeout coming. Morgan got fouled by Reavers, who just came in the game at about 3 seconds after that committed the foul.
You know, here's what Indiana is. All right, they threw the ball into Morgan. Your senior, Robert Johnson, doesn't say a word. The only guy that came over and patted Morgan was Colin Hartman. Nobody said a word. Zach McRoberts didn't say a word. Johnson didn't say a word. There's no, hey, let's get after this. It's a little bit sad.
Morgan trying to take over on offense for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, he's got a mismatch, and he knows it. The minute Happ goes out, man, he smells blood.
Well, I think it's very fair to say that Indiana has not had a real spirited effort tonight. Thomas on the perimeter, under 4. Part of that, maybe Morgan has been in foul trouble, hasn't played big minutes. They've missed him when he's not been out there. Davison pull up from the elbow area.
He just took it right at the other freshman, L. Durham, and just knocked it in right over him.
Durham on this end. Tried to flip it to Morgan. Good body control, draws the foul.
Well, you got to get that in the basket. You know what? Morgan made a nice move. Durham made a good pass. That's got to be 3 if you're Indiana.
(63-54) Wisconsin with the lead. Ethan Happ in so many ways has been the difference in this game. It's not just talent. You've been talking all night long about the efforts.
Look at him keep moving his feet. Hey, look, the coach ripped him today. The coach absolutely ripped him during the shoot around. And did he sulk? No. Fellas, ladies, gentlemen, there is no place for sulking. Coach rips you. Go prove to him that you're listening. Go prove to him that he's wrong. Ethan Happ has dominated this game. He's dominated it in every way, offensively, defensively, passing, you name it.
Molly, didn't Ethan tell you about how his coach got on him today a little bit?
He did. I talked to him right after. He said, yep, that's just a reality of it. I sometimes bear the brunt of coach's message. That's what comes with being a quiet leader of this team.
I think everybody around this program would like him to be a little bit more vocal, a little bit more outgoing. But if you play like this, who cares?
Well, you know, I think that leadership, you can't be stubborn. If the coach wants you to be more vocal, then be more vocal.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's not that difficult. And you can still play well and be more vocal, but look, there's no complaining what he's doing tonight. He is whipping everybody.
Yeah, guys, he may not be the most vocal leader, but I have been told that whenever they're in competition in practices, whichever team loses, he always runs with the losing team no matter what to lead by example.
I bet he doesn't lose much.
I would think his team is the team you want to be on. That shot blocked by Iverson. Happ tries to rip it away. That effort is contagious.
Oh, Iverson made a great play there. Happ made a great play, too, to recover, get his hands up, and distract Morgan, and then whap, all of a sudden, here comes Iverson. Look at the hands are up. Here comes Iverson. He doesn't stand and watch. So many times guys stand and watch. There's no way he's going to stand and watch. Let's go block a shot.
Happ hits the floor. Offensive foul. He's doing it all.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's guarding. He's moving his feet. Look, you can say, well, it's a flop, but we can say it about every offensive foul. But Morgan's 6'8", 6'9", 240 pounds. He hits you, it hurts.
That's Morgan's 4th. He'll stay on the court, of course, with only 2.5 to go. And Indiana obviously in big, big trouble. Against Morgan with those 4 fouls. Had the ball knocked away, so he could get it back. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Davison draws contact. He'll shoot free throws.
That was reminiscent of Josh Gosser. Josh Gosser is one of my favorite players because he played to his ability. He stayed down. Watch Gosser. Watch Davison. He stays down. See, he stays underneath. He doesn't just jump up and fall. Watch. See how low he is? Shows the ball. You get low in traffic as a guard. You show the ball. People will jump. They fall on your bad shoulder. You don't let anybody know you're hurt. You just play.
He did take a hit on that bum left shoulder. I don't know if Molly is on microphone, but what was the message on the back of the shirt, Molly?
The message on the back of the shirt is pain is temporary, pride is forever.
Hey, I don't think he rubbed it. My dad used to tell me, don't rub it. Don't rub it. I don't think he rubbed it.
That ball off the foot of Wisconsin. This is what we're talking about. Molly got this picture before the game. Pain is temporary, pride is forever on the practice jersey. Hey, talk yourself into it, right?
Right. Hey, just because you get hurt, and it hurts a little bit doesn't mean everybody's got to know about it.
He's dislocated that shoulder 5 times this season.
He's used to it.
Happ stole it away again. What a night for him.
Man, what a night for Wisconsin. You know, they've been blown out here. Michigan blew them out. Marquette blew them out.
Ohio State on this court.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Ohio State blew them out, not Michigan. I was thinking my son was still at Michigan. Ohio State blew them out by 18, 20, 25.
They said that's the worst game Wisconsin's ever played in this building.
It could be, but Ohio State was really good that night shooting the ball.
Davison got trapped. He'll call a timeout to avoid the turnover with 1:31 to go.
You know, this is old school. But if I were the coaching staff at Indiana, I would have to think about my next game starting 5 guys that at least want to give me effort. I would forget about who is supposed to be what, and I would take the guys at Johnny Jager. He'll give you effort. You know, I would start those guys and say, to heck with you. You know, think about this. Indiana has lost by 30. Well, it ended up being 20, but it was 30 all day to Indiana State. By 30 to IPFW, Indiana, Fort Wayne, whatever it's called. A&T.
Well, you and I will be there on Saturday in Minneapolis. Gophers and the Hoosiers. That's the next game, right, for Indiana?
It is.
Well, we're going to see.
I wouldn't let these guys back on, you know. But again, that's why I'm sitting here, because I was too hard on players. But I can't imagine allowing this to occur.
And meanwhile, on the other side, what a game for Ethan Happ. Not just scoring. He's got 25 points. He's got 9 rebounds. He's got 4 assists. He's got 4 steals. He's got 2 blocks. He's taken charges.
What a game for the culture of Wisconsin, right? Yeah. I mean, how good has Davidson been here in the second half?
14 points.
How about Mesh?
Halftime.
Mesh hasn't done anything, right? But I bet you his plus-minus is somewhere in the double digits.
Really good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do. When you have a team that's depleted, other guys must step up.
3 seconds to shoot out of the timeout. Badgers, Happ knows it. He'll get one off with the left hand. Didn't go. Morgan grabbed the rebound away. Indiana needs points real fast. They need this to go. Hartman didn't shoot it. That's a blocking foul.
And that's a good call right there. That was absolutely a block on Mesh.
There'll be free throws coming.
Pretty good flip back. Hartman's been shooting. Mesh moves his feet. Pretty good position. But live, that looked like an absolute block to me.
Colin Hartman much quieter in the second half, that's for sure. Earns the second. Still been a career high scoring night for him. He could be proud of his performance. 17, make it 18.
Yeah, I played at Indiana, and when you played, I hate to admit this, but when you played a game like this, what you do, I mean, I wouldn't go to class the next day because I didn't want to hear it from students. You know, Indiana, there was such pride in the student body. You're like, Dockage, you guys stink. You know, and
Happ got fouled in the backcourt before he could get rid of the ball.
You got to have pride. And this is where I'm saying Wisconsin. Wisconsin has had and shown an incredible amount of pride tonight. Wouldn't you agree?
They are down. I don't know how you want to parse it, but 3 of their top 5 players.
Yeah.
I think that's
guys
fair to
playing
say.
That they were playing guys that weren't even, like, you couldn't even find them in their game notes. You know,
I'm looking at the how do you say Walt McGrory and Aaron Maish and TJ Schlunt, and I was not yet. I learned, but we were practicing before the game.
And that's what teams that have real pride do. And look, Indiana, they'll get there, but they're not there. You know,
Happ rattled it down.
And if you don't learn from things, and you're going to, what is the definition of insanity? Is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result?
Hoosiers have a lot of work to do. Newkirk, why didn't he shoot it? Somehow it went down.
Yeah,
he gets an assist. I think Morgan gets the bucket.
Yeah, there you go. You got to foul immediately.
1 minute remaining.
Under a minute now. Davison.
You got to foul him.
And they do. That's Aaron Maish. Let's see that shot again. Yep. Just like they drew it up.
Who made it?
I mean, Happ really made it.
But score for everybody.
I think Morgan gets credit. Aaron Maish, walk on from Green Bay.
He's a shooter. I remember last year, he had a couple shots in a variety of games, and he just looks confident.
It's his first point, but as you said, he's played 24 minutes in this game. So even though they haven't asked him to do a lot in terms of scoring, he's played well.
He's played really well. He's been in the right spot. He's moved the basketball, and I guarantee you, like I said, his plus-minus is a ton.
Be on the court at the same time as Ethan Happ. That helps your plus-minus.
A little bit, yeah.
Johnson bounces it to Morgan for the layup.
Good cut by Morgan, good pass, but
too little too late for Indiana. Davison, timeout Wisconsin. Now remember, this is the third. It feels weird, right? This is the day after New Year's Day. This is the third conference game for each of these teams because they played the one set of games in early December because of the scheduling this year with the early conference tournament. Here's the upcoming schedule for the Badgers. This will be their 5th win in a row. Now those are 2 road games. Those are winnable games for this Wisconsin team, even on the road. Rutgers is better. Nebraska's played well. Then you get Purdue. That's 5 of 6 coming up away from home.
Yeah, this is an incredibly tough stretch, which obviously evens out. But Wisconsin has played a very difficult schedule to this point anyway, so it's not like they're not used to that. But here's what I see. I had Penn State against Wisconsin a few weeks back, and Wisconsin won the game, came back. This Wisconsin team without Kobe King and without Dimitri Trice is better. This team was better than the team that played Penn State. Now, what does that mean on the road? I don't know. We'll see. But when you play at home and you have pride like they have, I'll tell you what, it gives you a lot of confidence moving forward as you go on the road.
Happ is still in the game, even though you know he's going to be a target of being fouled because he's not a great free throw shooter. He got fouled there. This will continue this unbelievable streak, barring a miracle. This is going to be the 16th consecutive win for Wisconsin over Indiana in this building. You have to go back to 1998, the last time Indiana won on the road against the Badgers.
I weighed 210 pounds, 250 now, had a full head of hair, glorious, and was screaming at players at Bowling Green.
That's a time capsule for you. Yeah, forget the cost of a loaf of bread or
I think my daughter was born that year.
a gallon of gas. Just go by the hairline. Happ made them both. It's been that kind of game for him. What a performance. Man. 3 from Newkirk, who had a very quiet game. I would assume Indiana's going to back off now and let the seconds wind down. There's a smile from Happ and a hug with his freshman. And the final, a 10-point win for the Badgers. Let's send it over to Molly McGrath.
Thank you, Dave. Ethan, you did it all tonight despite the fact that they were double teaming you. How did you find success?
When my teammates are knocking on open shots, that loosens it up, and I credit my teammates for knocking those down so they can't double team me all the time.
You guys were incredibly thin tonight. What does this win say about the fight in your team?
Like I told you before the game, I mean, the confidence isn't lacking with this team. Yeah, injuries, we've suffered a bunch, but we're excited to start this new Big Ten season.
16 wins at home straight versus Indiana. What is it about this matchup here at the Kohl Center that brings out the best in you?
I'm not really sure. I don't have a great answer for you, but we always like to protect our home court.
What does this win do for the confidence of a young team?
It's big to go 2-1 in conference with all the injuries that we've had, but I think the biggest thing is that we stuck together and we know that we can win even though we're down on bodies.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Molly. Good stuff from Ethan Happ, who is, we talk about how he's not a vocal leader for this team. He's a very articulate, personable kid. You talk to him, he's just delightful, but it was the on-court performance tonight that really stood out. You list the best players in the Big Ten. Maybe Miles Bridges is at the top of the list, some of the Purdue kids, but Ethan Happ is right there.
You're not going to see a better performance on both ends of the floor than what Ethan Happ did here tonight. He was outstanding defensively. He rebounded, he kicked the ball out, and he made Indiana adjust their whole defense, and they were never able to stop him.
Do you know the words of the alma mater?
You know my own alma mater.
The freshmen are still learning.
And then you know what happens?
What?
Everybody heads to the nitty-gritty, baby, and celebrates the win.
Bundle up. It's only -20 outside. What a game for the Badgers. Indiana, they got some work to do. 71-61, the final score. Good one coming up in the Big 12. Our friends John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla from Fog Allen standing by. Take it away, guys.